What lessons has the team learned from the Wilderness Reborn content? Oh boy. All right, here we go. Here's the big one.
Here we go.
From Mod Jack. Jagex's takeaway is that the Wilderness Reborn hasn't quite worked out.
Where?
They wanted to substitute the risk of going into the wilderness by moving it from PvP to PvM risk, but it'd say that strategy did not work out, and it's actually more annoying now. You can attest to that.
I didn't. Yes, I didn't want to say this. I hate to say I told you so, but yeah.
And for anybody wondering what we're talking about, after the wilderness content dropped, I sent Tannis into the wilderness to test something. I forget what it was, but you got smacked by a pair of something or other that killed you right away in doing that. And this is at 0 or 1 threat. So
yeah, it was lots and lots of Abyssal everythings all at once,
right,
all the time. Yeah.
What they have decided on with this, and it's still in the design phases of how it's going to be balanced and implemented, but they're going to remove the wilderness threat system and adjust mechanics that tie into that.
I think this is going to be good. I mean, we don't know when that's going to happen. I do think that, like, this is the best thing that they can do. Other than just repurposing the whole area, which they kind of already.
Yeah, they said the biggest problem would be the Mandrith tasks, because that's really built around it.
It is. The only thing, though, it's like, I don't think that's. I mean, I love Slayer, and I don't do those that much. I don't know anyone that does.
Interesting.
Oh.
And for me, I thought that this was going to force me and maybe make me like Slayer, but it didn't. It didn't. So I don't know. It didn't work for me either. I got to say on that. So I think the highlight of this entire wilderness expansion that we had at the tail end of last year was probably the storyline and the flash events.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what this comes down to on this. And with that, they said the alternative is to try and redesign the threat system, but with that it might not work. But the feedback they received says that people just aren't engaging with the risk-reward element to it. So they made the decision to effectively turn off threat, since it's more of a nuisance than a positive. They're scoping of the various alternatives now from a design perspective. No timeline as of yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just yesterday I was trying to remember. I'm like, what is... It's some kind of stone that will negate this threat.
Obsidian palm stone.
Yeah. And with that, you're already neglecting it anyway. It's kind of like,
And, they're dirt cheap with how many flash events that are done. At that point, why trouble the people who don't have them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I agree with this. I think it's kind of a disappointment because the wilderness was always built around the area that, it's going to be dangerous. This is where you go for your highest XP rates in game, right?
Nope.
And, I think if there was the bigger budget, you know what I think they should have done with this? I think they should have just built an entire new area, like a new continent, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Kind of like they did with Anachronia, and just completely revamp the area and find some hand-waving mechanic, to bring back the old 4 and 3 cities, right? I think that would have been the way to go.
Yes, and that,
for the wilderness rework that removes PvP in that you can still maybe find some element of danger to it, but wouldn't it have been more interesting with an expansion to have a new continent? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at on that, and I think they made the right decision for that, and we'll walk away from this and say that the flash events and the quest line were the highlights out of that.